Alrighty, it's been a while, obviously. If you're seeing this on YouTube, obviously you can see my WCW stuff. But what we're doing here is a return to some streaming on Twitch. It's been a while since I've done this. Basically, real life getting involved, other fun stuff, how it goes, especially with the current situation. Regardless, instead of doing MLW, which I was doing before, or doing the CWA stuff with the Cornell verse, as you can see, we are live in 1991 with WCW. I decided to do this because 1991 is an interesting time. It's a big time of change in WCW. When you start the year, the roster is, shall we say, not good at all, aside from the tippy top. There's some weird angles to start with. It's kind of an odd roster in general because there's so many people in WWF, and there's so many people that left recently, and people who are not around yet. People who are still too young. Even people who are here a couple years later aren't quite around. But to sort of set up things as far as our storyline, basically, the user character I'm doing is being Ric Flair. So the angle I'm going with is basically after Starrcade, after the silliness of the Black Scorpion. Basically, Flair, goes above Jim Herd to either Ted Turner or Sonny Rick Ted Turner, and basically gets himself installed back as Booker, with a promise that basically, Jim Herd will be sidelined and he'll be given as much control as possible. And they do this basically because otherwise, he admits that he will walk out on his contract, as soon as it's viable to do so. And so as part of this, Dusty and Dustin are not coming over from the WWF. They'll be free agents officially in a couple weeks, and then we'll see what they do in the game world. But otherwise, everything else is the same. So what I'm just going to do is go over things, and then we'll try to book the first couple shows. I don't know if you're, I don't know who's aware of the 1991 schedule, but we'll go over that and all the other fun stuff. So, to start, let's just start from the top. Ric Flair's number 1, Sting's number 2, Arn's number 3, Lex Luger's number 4, Barry Windham is number 5, as far as franchise players. Next big things, Pillman, the juicer of all people, Owen Hart, and Buddy Landel. Owen Hart was on this roster for just a little bit, and then Juicer, yikes. Hot Prospects is basically the same people, plus Chris Youngblood, and El Gigante. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what to do with him, possibly. Talk the Talk is Flair, Dangerously, Sting, Hayes, Arn, exactly who you'd expect. Showstoppers are Sting, Flair, Pillman, Eaton, and Stan Hansen. Our ring generals are Flair, Arn, Sting, Bob Eaton, and Ricky Morton. Who's hot is Michael Wall Street, of all people, Lex Luger, Ric Flair, El Gigante, and Sting. Who's not? Nobody. And your hidden gems are Scott Hall, Steve Austin, Fatu, Tom Pritchard, and Chris Jericho. Again, we're going to be kind of realistic here, so we're not going to sign everybody we know is going to be a star in 3 or 4 years, but we will see who doesn't get picked up, and who's available, and then go from there. Then if we look at our product, it is classic Southern wrestling, which means we got 90% matches, 10% angles on events, 70% matches, 30% angles on TV shows, physical style wrestling. Matches less than 15 minutes will not be able to achieve world-class scores. Matches that are overbooked will be penalized. The regular stuff that you expect will be penalized. Fans will receive storylines and gimmicks. One match will be a brawl, one match storytelling. And yeah, there you go. One thing I am going to do is just change this to regular focus and regular focus for both, just because, well, actually what we'll do is we'll keep it on main event spotlight for now, mainly because, at least for the first month or so, there's only one big match, so there you go. So then we'll go over our roster at the end here, but stables, we got the Horsemen, who are you expect Ric Flair, Arn, Barry, and Sid. Diamond Exchange is DDP, Garvin, and Hayes. And York Foundation is Alexander York, Michael Wall Street, Terry Taylor, and Big Cat. Our storyline so far is just computing success with as Alexander York and Terry Taylor. Sexiest woman in WCW is the Missy Hyatt, Paul E. Angle. And Sting vs. Horseman is the big, Sting, basically the lead up to the War Games. Teams, we got Doom, We got Ricky Morton and Tommy Rich. We got Sting and Lex Luger, the Freebirds, Lightning Express, Renegade Warriors, the Royal Family, the State Patrol, the Steiner Brothers, and the Young Pistols. Yeah, so we've got some work to do to build some new people. Titles. United States Heavyweight Champion is Lex Luger. He's been that since, basically since May of last year, of '89, but in reality, there's that slight mix where Hansen won the title, and then Luger won the title back. U.S. Tag Team Champions are the Steiners, and NWA World Tag Team Champions is Doom. World Heavyweight Champion is Zinc. WC World Heavyweight Champion is officially vacant, because if you don't know, the World Heavyweight Champion was basically added as a thing in January as part of the Meadowlands finish, which we won't be doing. Announcers. So for events, it's going to be Ross and Tony. For WCW, which is Saturday night, it's going to be Tony and Paul E. For main event, it's going to be Lance Russell and Michael Hayes. And for Power Hour, it's going to be Jim Ross and Paul E. Broadcasting, it's Who Do You Expect? TBS. And then for events, and then also Turner Premiere. Which means we're going to have to look for some additional coverage to see for some other stuff, which we'll do in a second here. Coverage, yeah. Backstage, 97%, so not too much. No child companies. Finance, we start out with $2 million, which is, I think a decent, as far as a real, quote unquote, real budget for WCW. House shows, let's see here, house show booking. For the house show loop, we are going to just have the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic and Mid-South for now. Medical, Owen Hart is not available for booking for 56 days. Harley Race is out for 6 months. And Ricky Gibson is out for 5 months. But they both can do surgery, so let's test this out. Harley Race is going to be out in only 4 months and 3 weeks. And Robert Gibson is going to be back in 2 months and 2 weeks. So everybody wins. Merch. We are automatically increasing this. Owner goals, none yet. I'm sure we will get some in a minute. Production. So, basically, we are going to upgrade everything we need to. So first, we're going to upgrade our music. I think that means we're good to go here. Let's see here. Yeah, everything's better now. So that basically fixes. Oh, okay, there we go. See, that fixes most of those problems we were having before, as far as with music. So that's all good. Size-wise, so it's WCW in 1991. So I'll go over it in a second, but yeah, that's the roster. It's not great once you get past the very top of the card, but that's part of the fun of this company. But yeah, size-wise, we're medium, so to get big, we just need to get basically 77 everywhere, at least in 5 regions. Production, owner goals, merch, ticket prices. So yeah, roster-wise, let's do this by perception just to see here. So, major stars. For major stars, we got Arn Anderson. He's Arn Anderson, member of the Horsemen. Awesome. Barry Windham. He recently turned on, Lex Luger. Well, not recently, but he's been, a pretty solid heel for the Horsemen for a while. Lex Luger, babyface, been U.S. champion for basically a year and a half. Or no, it's been basically a year and a half. Ric Flair, Horseman, turned heel, Black Scorpion, we won't mention that part. And then Sting, our NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and soon to be our WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Right. And then after this is where things get a little more interesting. For stars, we got Bobby Eaton, former member of the Midnight Express, on his own now, but still a solid worker. Gordon Soley, announcer. Harley Race, out for 4 months. Really over. Still actually solid in the ring, so he might be used when he comes back as an actual wrestler, depending on how the roster is looking. Larry Zabisko, he arrived at the end of 1990. We'll see where he goes from here. Missy Hyatt is Missy Hyatt. Ole's a road agent. Paul E. Dangerously is Paul E. Dangerously. We got the Steiners, who are both pretty over and both really freaking good. Ricky Morton, who is on his own because there's no Robert Gibson around. Because, like I just showed, Robert Gibson is injured. Sid is, Sid, big power bomby monster Sid. Stan Hansen, I believe, is also working. Yeah, he's also working for AJPW, or maybe working for New Japan. I'll have to double check the contracts. Let's see here. Contracts. Okay. I'll have to double check. Because I'm pretty sure he's still working for New Japan at this point, or maybe All Japan. I suppose. I'll double check that in a second. And then we got Tommy Rich, former NWA World Champion for 6 days. Now get a little older, a little bigger, but still pretty solidly over in the Southeast at least. So there is that. And now here's where things begin to fall off some cliffs. For hold on, okay, we got Vader, who isn't Vader yet. He's just basically a guy who's in New Japan killing people. But was on the Tokyo Dome card, and will be around for Super Brawl. Brian Pillman, he arrived in beginning of the year, and basically is now a part of sort of the top babyface squad. So we'll see what we go for him. Hopefully his 1990s goes better for him than in real life. Buddy Landell, he's Buddy. He'll get in trouble probably depending on what is let's hear what he has. Yeah, attributes. Okay, no drug issues, which is nice. But he's a solid heel. At least on the mid card. Butch Reed, which also is Ron Simmons. They're Doom. They are our World Tag Team Champions. We'll see where we go from there with them. Dan Spivey is former All Japan guy here in WCW, former member of the Skyscrapers. We'll see what we do with him in the future. Dick Bruiser here is a road agent. I don't know how good he is. We'll figure that stuff out on TV. El Gigante is El Gigante. I don't know what I'm going to do with him because if I remember, his contract still. Okay, yeah. His contract only has 6 months left, so we'll see what we do with him. We got the Freebirds, who are, this is the 1990s version of Freebirds, which is not good. Hey there. Not what we would say is a good team anymore. And that's why they've got the DDP as a manager now, so there's that. Jody Hamilton, the assassin, he's a road agent. We got JYD, he's not, this is pure junk food dog days. But, maybe we can still do something with him. We got Kevin Sullivan, dirty, dangerous Kevin Sullivan, even though he was, at this point, doing a Sullivan Saloon type of thing, which is weird. Again, WCW, Ole Anderson, what can he do? Lance Russell, one of the best announcers ever. Megan TA is just sort of around as a color guy. Michael Wall Street, his contract is up in less than a month, so we'll see if we actually want to keep him around to change history or do something else with him. Robert Gibson, currently injured. Teddy Long runs the Doom's manager. Terry Taylor, currently a babyface. We don't know how long that's going to last. But, yeah, And the Z-Man, Mr. Minnesota, current TV champion. Maybe he'll have a better career this time around. Who knows? So, now we're really getting to the dregs. Alexander York, the future Mrs. Dustin Rhodes in an alternate reality, but also just, around. Currently manages Michael Street. The Big Cat, Curtis Hughes. You know, he's bodyguard. Bart Armstrong. Yeah, Armstrong Curse, really good wrestler. Can't talk. We'll see what happens with him. DDP. This is still not great wrestler. DDP. This is DDP who's currently hired as a manager, not as a wrestler. Dutch Mantel. He's semi-retired. I forgot he was even in WCW at this point, so we'll see what we do with him, because he is, like, you can see here, he's, like, really charismatic, so we'll figure out maybe what we can do with him. El Cubano, Jobber, Grizzly Smith, backstage guy, Jim Crockett Jr., one of the Crockett's, Jim Ross, by God, he's our lead announcer along with Tony, Master Blaster Blade, Al Green, Master Blaster Steel, Kevin Nash. This is what we call two guys who can't really wrestle yet, but they're big and scary, so we'll see what happens with them. Mike Graham, he has a job because they bought Florida. Moondog Rex, again, I have no idea why he has why he's here. Norman the Lunatic. Mike Shaw is actually a really solid wrestler, so we'll see if we can figure out something else different to do with him. Pat Rose, Jobber, Ranger Ross, American, former, I think he was former Special Forces or Green Beret or something like that. Anyway, he's a solid wrestler, so we'll see what we can do with him. Rip Morgan, member of the New Zealand Militia. Rip Rogers, heel jobber. Steve Armstrong, member of the Young Pistols, was with Tracy Smothers. The Juicer, Art Barr, in a different life. Tim Horner, member of the Lightning Express with Brad Armstrong, perfectly solid wrestler. Tony Schiavone, our lead announcers. I've got a ton of different stuff going on. On my YouTube channel, which I think is linked in the profile, I've got a long WCW series going from 2001, 2003. I don't know if the videos are still on here, but I've got a Cornellverse save, and I've also got a MLW save from 2004 that I'm working on. That stuff is also up on YouTube, but I decided to just do this today because it's interesting to do, and just see what happens. And for this is just all jobbers. We got the Renegade Warriors, the Young Bloods, David Crockett, who has a job, George South, Jack Victory, Jim Klotz, Jim Pizza Man Hurd, Jimmy Jet, our ref, Keith Hart, who has a job for some reason, Lethal Larry, who is managed by Teddy Long. I might actually do something with him. It depends. The State Patrol, Mark Kyle, another jobber, Mike Atkins, one of our refs, Motor City Madman, who had a random job in WCW for some reason, Nick Patrick, Owen Hart, who is not legally cleared to wrestle for another 56 days, Pistol Pez Watley, Randy Anderson, Scott Armstrong, Super Jobber, the Italian Italians, and the Minotaur. I think that's it for our roster, so let's see, is there anybody else? Nope, okay, cool. So if we look at our events and TV, so we've got Power Hour and Main Event, which is taped on Wednesday. We've got World Championship Wrestling, which is Saturday night under its initial name, which is taped Thursday. And then for our events, we have Clash of the Champions still showing as dormant, which I might have to turn active on my own. Then we got Wrestle War, the New Japan Super Show, Super Brawl, Great American Bash, a big gap to Havoc, and then Starrcade. So yeah, what I'm going to do is modify this event. Active, save, and there you go. And then I think that's it. Let me see. Well, let's just do this for a day and see what happens here. As this decides to go through. Gotta love that first day of TEW trying to put everything through. Okay, so okay. Extensions for Saturday night. And let's see here, we got Al Green. Okay, so some offers for some people we have on contracts. So let's go to our goals, see what shows there. So you realize I'm the booker, right, Jim Herd? Okay, that's hilarious. Sting must get popular. Can't hire or extend the contract of any wrestler who has less than 60 in charisma. Okay. And you can't have a wrestler having a hardcore style. Okay, at least that makes sense. So I know I'm going to fail that goal with Flair, but you know, what can we do? But I'm going to do one thing, and that's, I don't know why Pillman, let's see here. Contract. Yeah. Yeah, let's make you a written. Let's see here, and we'll do just to make sure he doesn't get stolen. There we go. Now let's take a quick look and make sure there's nobody else under a random contract who's actually over. Let's see here. Sully, Race, Hansen, Rich, Vader. I mean, yeah. Well, we'll see if anybody else gets. I don't think anybody else will get grabbed by WWF, but Bowman's actually good, so I want to make sure I had that. But yeah, let's see here. We got anybody else? Yeah, we got still another couple days until our next show, so we'll put through this. Oh, that's the other thing I want to do. We'll do that in lead up to the next show here. More fun with TW trying to load a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see here. Okay. Any more honor goals? Nope. Okay. So the thing I want to do is extend our broadcasting. So nope. Okay. Nobody will negotiate with Mexico. Anybody in the British Isles? Okay. Cool. I guess we'll go with, yeah, this small one. Okay, so forgot that DSF has that deal with yeah, because the interesting thing with WCW is they had TV in Germany, but basically nowhere else really, which was funny. I guess what we can do is, yeah, we can just do this for WCW at least. Oh, right, new deal for. So we got World Championship Wrestling. New deal for Power Hour. We'll add that. And we'll also add main event, because why not? Okay, and there we go. So next up we got Japan. Alright, so let's negotiate a new deal for events. And there we go. And again, I realize this is a little boring here at the same, but no matches yet. Just doing the initial startup so that WCW is actually on the air in other places than just America. Okay, so I guess we're just not getting any TV on the air, which is fine. Europe. Right, okay, we're already on. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we're fine for now. So we got TBS, Turner Pier, Springport. Right, okay. Alrighty, let's get rolling. Okay, cool. So nicely we have the right TV stuff. So it's so we're booking 2 shows tonight. It's going to be Power Hour and Main Event. So we'll start with the main event. So basically, WCW was weird in the early '90s before they really solidified stuff in the mid '90s, with Saturday Night and then Nitro. Basically, Main Event and Power Hour were both not really were both on were like weekend shows that were like on in like the early morning, the afternoon, depending on the time. Well, their Saturday night show was called World Championship Wrestling and was like their A show. So this is basically their B show, except the way WCW booked is that basically what happened was that eventually Main Event and Power Hour got replaced by Pro and Worldwide, which you might know depending on, and those were like their like C shows. Like that's where you would see like Lismark versus Fit Finley on a random Saturday night in like Saturday morning in 1998. But basically throughout the early 90s, their World Championship Wrestling show, which eventually became Saturday Night, gained more prominence as like their main show. Well, both these shows basically changed into Pro and Worldwide and became like pure B shows, and then Nitro got added in the mid 90s, and then we were really off to the races. But yeah, so we'll start off with an angle here where we have our, wait, I forget, what show are we doing? Yeah, main event, okay. So main event opening, and we've got Lance and Russell going over the various things going on in WCW, including the War Games match. It's already set for Wrestle War, and other things going on. But then we're going to go to the ring, as we got our first match, which is going to be the Junkyard Dog taking on Mark Kyle. It's going to be a total squash for Dog. This is going to be scripted because these guys are good. And decisive win for JYD. Then we'll have a JYD promo on Sid. Sure. And then we're going to do a quick commercial for sure. Okay, cool. No problem. Then we'll do a Doom promo where we've got Teddy Long, Ron Simmons, talk about how, like, they've dominated with WCW and everything. Okay. What year is this supposed to be? Or is this just like sort of random? And I'll also cut this down to 3 minutes. And then we'll have a match, which is going to be... okay, cool. It's going to be our team of Fabulous Freebirds taking on Pez Watley and the Italian Stallion. Gotcha. And this is going to be a quick win for the Birds. Oh, right. Well, I forgot about that, but we'll do the booking. And then we'll just do a quick promo here for the Birds. Then we'll do another promo. Well, this is going to be a Brian Pillman video. And then we'll come back with another match here. It's going to be a singles match. And it's going to be heels. Let's see, we got, we'll have Buddy Landell going over Keith Hart. And again, a decisive win. And a pinfall finish. And then a Wendell promo. So of those three, based on time period and everything, I would go Ric Flair, the three-way, and then Hogan Taker. Hogan Taker, it wasn't that great in real life 2002, so anytime afterward, probably not good. The Taker, Triple H, Rikishi, three-way would probably be fun, and Ric Flair, as long as you did it before the mid-2000s, would probably be pretty solid. Let's see, we got Landell Keith, Landell promo, and then we'll do another promo, which is going to be analysis. Let's see here. Yeah. Flair Taker in real life was pretty good, so, So I would probably put that over, Okay, we got Sid. Okay, we've got Sid. Those bad matches are both solid. They don't feel like WrestleMania main event matches, but really solid, second or third, semi-mains. Maybe Ray Batista to TLC would be good, after some build. Okay, so it's a vicious video, but Andel, so we need to do a the Orton Edge Christian 3 would be really good. I don't know how well it would draw, but it would be a really good match probably. And Flair Orton TLC, it would depend on Flair. Again, if we're talking about drawing, probably pure quality, probably going to be the Batista Mysterio TLC match would probably be the best match, quote unquote. But Flair Rock would probably draw really well. Taker Hogan wouldn't be good, but it would probably draw some, buy rates. And yeah, all the other, I'm not saying, there's not really a bad main event in there, but yeah, probably would go Flair Rock or the Batista Mysterio TLC as, probably your, two main, one would be, the well-remembered match as far as a spectacle, and then the Batista Mysterio match would probably be the best match out of all those, if that makes any sense. So we'll put Ricky Morton, Tommy Rich over here. And then Morton and Rich promo. And then we've got our main event, which is going to be a perfectly solid mid-card battle. So, faces. It's going to be Terry Taylor versus Michael Wall Street. That'll go 10 minutes. And Michael Wall Street will win. And Tainted Victory with distraction from Alexander York. So let's run this main event show and just to see what happens as far as this first show. Again, main event and Power Hour are both like B shows, which would usually have a decent main event, and otherwise it would be Squash City, as you can see. But let's see here. We got main event opening, giving us a 67. Solid stuff. We have our opening squash where Junkyard Dog goes over Mark Kyle in 405 with the power slam. JYD gets a 55. Good stuff. 40. We've got a JYD promo on Sid, and we'll officially book that in for, where are you? Clash of the Champions. There we go. So we got JYD versus Sid. Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. So that got a 52, because JYD isn't the best talker in the world. Then we have a Doom promo, basically going to affect, they've been the dominant tag team in WCW, and it doesn't matter who they face, they're just continued, to run over everybody. And this got a 65. An extremely short match. Family's Freebirds went over Pez Whatley and Italian Stallion in 427. 42, just a squash match for the Freebirds. Freebirds promo talking about, they were the team of the 80s, they'll be the team of the 90s, because they got, their good buddy DDP as a partner as well. So yeah, this gets a 64. And then a Brian Pillman video, just going over the fact he's Brian Pillman, he's a cool California dude, gets a 50. Buddy Landell defeating Keith Hart in 607 by pinfall at the corkscrew elbow drop, gets a 607. Perfectly decent match. And then Buddy Landell promo gets a 64. And David Crockett is not what we would call a good road agent, so I'll note that. So yeah, but still perfectly solid promo. And the Sid Vicious video, just Sid being scary for a couple minutes, gets a 66. And then, in about a decent reaction from the crowd, actually, Ricky Morton and Tommy Rich defeat the State Patrol in 618 when Morton pinned Earl Wright with a dropkick. This gets a 54. Yeah, just a squash win. Then a Morton Rich promo saying, they're on a roll again, and they're going to get the top WCW together as good old Southern boys. Gets 58. And then in our main event, Michael Wall Street defeats Terry Taylor in 10:03 by pinfall with a stop market crash after Alex York distracts him. And this gets a 55. And Michael Wall Street and Alexander York are a very poor combination. So that gives me my answer whether I'm going to actually try to re-sign Michael Wall Street. Yep, I know, Michael. And so this gets a 58. It's perfectly solid stuff, like nothing fancy. And then we're going to do Power Hour. So for that, we'll have our Power Hour opening. Which involve Jim Ross and Paulie dangerously both on the microphone. And then we'll have our first match of the night, which is going to be a one-on-one match. It will be... Oops. It's going to be Dan Spivey versus George South. So this goes 5 minutes. Dan wins. He looks dominant. And there you go. Pinfall. And then Spivey power bombs South again. The South shall not. And then we have the Brian Pillman video again. It's almost like I'm trying to get this guy over or something. Okay, and then we'll add our next match, which is going to be Norman the Lunatic versus Jim Clontz. Going to be a squash win for Norman. Nope, that's the wrong guy. Let's not have that be. There we go. Decisive win, and here we go. And then we'll have Norman celebrate with fans. And then we'll have our Russell War Control Center. Hosted by Gordon Solie. As he puts over no, actually, yeah, this is going to be a Clash of the Champions Control Center. So this is Gordon Solie putting over the fact that the main event at Clash of the Champions is going to be Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Barry Windham, or the Horsemen, taking on Sting and Rick and Scott Steiner in an elimination rules match, where the winning team will be the team that will get the advantage at Wrestle War in War Games. So we come back from that in another singles match. We've got Sid going over. You can go over the juicer. Dominant victory for old Sid Vicious. Well, no, wait, I don't want to do this because I just did this with Dan Spivey. So actually what we'll do here is we'll do Bobby Eaton versus the Juicer. There we go. The exact opposite type of match. It'll go a little longer. Bobby Eaton will go over. Open match, all out, and Bobby Eaton will go over. And then Eaton cuts a promo on Zinc. And then we'll have another promo. Let's see here. Yeah, we're going to have a Buddy Landell promo. Challenges Pillman. And then we'll have a tag team match. We'll have the Young Pistols defeat a couple heels. Actually, yeah, Royal Family. There you go. This will go 7 minutes. Tracy will go over. Decisive win for the Pistols. And then the Young Pistols can celebrate. And then we'll have our main event, which will be for the title. So we got oh no, oops, that's not what I wanted, so Z-Man goes over. Because why not? Okay, so there we go. Power Hour, main evented by TV title match, and some other fun stuff. So let's get rolling. So we have our Power Hour opening with Jim Ross and Paulie Dangerously, which gets a 69. We have Dan Spivey killing George South in 5 minutes with a Spivey Spike. Then Spivey killing South again with a Spivey Spike gets a 52. Brian Pillman video, same as on main event, gets a 55. Norman Lunatic defeating Jim Klontz in 401 gets a 18. That's really bad. But Norm Celebrating with Fans gets a 27. Hurrah! The Clash Control Center gets a 72. Bobby Eaton defeated the Juicer in 639 with Alabama Jump gets a 58. And Eaton Promo on Zinc gets a 40 because it's Bobby Eaton speaking, which is something you just don't want. And then a Buddy Landau promo on Brian Pillman challenging him to a match next week gets a 56. And then Young Pistols defeating the Royal Family in 7-11 when Smothers pin Jack victory with Doomsday Dropkick gets a 44. And the Young Pistols Celebrating gets a 38. And then in our main event for the TV title, the Z-Man defeats Al Cubano in 544 with Flying Crossbody, and that gets a 39. And right, David Crockett is not a good road agent. So that gets a 50. Again, these were B shows, so they weren't the biggest shows in the world or anything like that. But we'll see how it goes from here. Let's see here. Yeah, nothing too exciting. Yeah, I know. People who I'm giving, yeah, sure. And now it's time for Saturday night. Oh, right, that's the other thing I want to do is just so I had it as a pre-booking. Pre-book match. It's going to be a 3-on-3 elimination. It's going to be Ric Flair, Arnold Superior Woman versus Scott. There we go. Let's see here. It's now on the Saturday night, which is booked on Thursday, because of course it is. So we start the show with the Saturday night opening with Tony and Paulie Dangerously. Oh, right, forgot to take these guys off. And then we have our first match of the night, which is going to be Larry Zabisko taking on Ranger Ross. This goes 6 minutes. Zabisko goes over. Decisive win. Zabisko promo. There's going to be a change. I've been playing it forever. I mean, I've bought every edition. I've done everything with it. So, yeah. I mean, I played EWR. Hell, I played TNM. So, yeah. I heard about it because I'm a dork who likes this stuff. see here. So we'll do a Lex Luger promo. Yeah, I'm going to do another match, and then it can be a... I mean, I like wrestling. Like, it'd be kind of silly to not like wrestling until like TEW, so there's that. I guess we can do... Sure, we'll do El Gigante, because that seems like a smart idea. Oh, yeah, we can do... There we go. Gigante. Script. Protect. Decisive win. Yeah, I do. It's linked. I believe it's linked to my profile. I've got a WCW thing I've been doing from 2001, and I'm now deep into 2003. So it's pretty much been my main thing. I'm just doing this today for a little fun and see how it goes. Yeah, I started. Yeah, so I started in 2001. But I also like rebooted it in a way because I started in TEW 2020 with 2003. So if you once I'm done here, or if you want to move on, I basically like started over, like not started over, but like I go over how everything is at the start of 2003, and so you can start from there if you don't want to watch a whole year and a half of booking before that, or a whole year of booking before that rather. But I'm also just doing this, which is WCW in 1991, which is a sort of terrible time for the company in general, but, that's why it's fun to do, because it's fun to try to rebuild this thing, as much of a mess it actually is. So we'll redo that Brian Pillman video again, just to get him over. Let's see here, and then we'll do... I keep on forgetting it's 2 hours, so I have to do... We'll do a long promo with... Yeah, okay. So, analysis-wise, I want to get basically everybody who's a big... Yeah, okay. Except for obvious people who are... Yeah, okay. So, yeah, actually, let's do... For our next match, let's do... Come on. There we go. Let's do Terry Taylor versus a yeah, let's actually do, like, yeah, that'll be... This will be a fun little match. I'll go... And then Big Cat can go over. Open match. Tate did win. And then... Alexander York tells Terry to accept his fate. I'll have the Big Cat be here. And then what we'll do is, okay. I mean, at a certain point that, like, it's just silly. Like, I mean, I think part of it is, like, once it has that much money, like, it's just insane. Like, yeah, I mean, it's hard to, like, do WWE well in this game because it's such a giant company and has, like, so many different things going on. So, yeah. But, I mean, like, most mods are pretty good. Like, obviously, there are little things that are off, but, like, the people who, like, do their best. So I can complain too much. Flash Control Center, we'll do that again. That'll be Sully saying that's officially been signed. Sid and the Junkyard Dog. And then we can do okay, so I already did these guys. Yeah, okay. Time to do a Tommy Rich. Recognizable. Yeah, we'll do. We'll have Tommy Rich go over. Open match. Wild Brawl. Decisive win. And then Tommy Rich. Promo. And then we'll have the Danger Zone with the Steiners. Then we'll come back with, with a bit of a cooldown. As it's going to be local worker. Yeah, I mean, some mods, it just depends on what you look for. I actually don't mind the Who's mods, but then again, I also don't mind that, like, you have to kind of work to make people good, especially, like, their skills. Landex I've never used, so I'll just have to trust you that it's not good at all. Real-World Chronicles, I think, are actually pretty solid. I mean, in reality, it's really weird with modern world stuff because it's such an odd time in wrestling, because honestly, a lot of guys aren't actually what you would call decent, like at actually being like super charismatic. So you sort of just have this weird situation where a bunch of guys aren't really that over if you actually like go by like standards of the game. But if you want to be like realistic about stuff. Yes. I don't know, it just all depends on what you prefer. Yeah. Okay. So we got Master Blaster State. I mean, that might be a little low as far as like, you know, I consider things, but again, it's weird because like in reality, like WWE shows shouldn't be getting like great ratings, like, and I'm not like some like WWE hater, but like just by like their standards, they shouldn't be getting great ratings. But at the same point, like that means you sort of have to like nerf people's popularity. Yeah, he's Glacier. This is his pre WCW run when he was just on the Georgia Indies. So he's a pretty good guy to bring in to be killed by the Master Blasters in like 4 minutes. Let's see here. Yeah, well, a little thing called the NWO happened, and some plans got reworked, I'm guessing. We'll advance. So, actually, that's what we'll do. Okay, so we'll do that for our... Open match, all out, cheap win, DQ finish, outside interference, Dan Spivey. Yes, I know. Well, don't book him to be here. There. And then we'll do... down. I mean, at the moment, I would have to say probably either Ibushi or Tanahashi. Probably Ibushi, and maybe because Triple H probably doesn't want to do whatever wacky stump bumps Shane wants to do in a match. That's probably why, if we're being honest here. Auxiliary. And then let's see here. So we'll have Butch Reed, Ron Simmons, and we do a Auxiliary taking on some baby faces. Oh, actually, yeah. This is sort of the perfect setup. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's not what we'd call good. And then just to get a little goose of a Of some heat, we'll have that happen. Very Sting. No, that wouldn't be till, well, I mean, it's close as it is, and that happened in the summer of '92. This is when Doom were still tag team champions and still heels also. Let's see here. Is there anybody else? I mean, Sid, Stan, Bobby Eaton. Okay, yeah, these are all people who can do the stuff later. Well, I mean, remember, this was like WCW had basically built Turner. So, and you know, this show's still good, did decent ratings considering the roster. I mean, they still had the Horsemen, they still had Sting, they still had the Steiner brothers. They were just at a low point because of the dumb Black Scorpion angle, the fact that a bunch of people had been cut due to budgets, and other people hadn't like quite been built yet. You know. But yes, there's a reason. I mean, that Flair was out of here by summer in real life. But we'll go ahead and book this. So we got this all set. We'll run Saturday night and see if this actually does decently or not. So we have our Saturday night opening with Tony Schiavone and Paulie Dangerously. That gets us 64. We start out with a decent match. Larry Zabisko defeats Ranger Ross in 5:31 by submission with the Larry Lane Dreamer. And Tony and Paulie Dangerously clash horribly. Great. And then Larry cuts a promo saying there's going to be a change in WCW, and he's here to do it. That gets a 70 because Zabisko is always decent on the mic. We have a Lex Luger promo talking about how, you know, doesn't matter who he faces. He's been the U.S. champion for nearly a year and a half. He took the belt back from Hanson at Starrcade, and he's going to continue to be a proud United States champion with all his allocates. 74. And then the El Gigante defeats the Motor City Bandman in 6:18 by submission with a claw hold. This gets a 31, which is not good because it's El Gigante and the Motor City Bandman. And El Gigante celebrating gets a 48. Again, more great stuff. Brian Pillman video, which I've already done a couple times, but still there, gets a 62. And about that decent reaction from the crowd with subpar wrestling, the Big Cat, Curtis Hughes, defeats Terry Taylor in 7:56 by submission with a torture rack after interference from... Oops, I choose Paul... Okay. Let's pretend that's at Alexander York. This gets a 49. And then Alexander York basically tells Terry to accept his fate, and that, you know, only she can lead him back to greatness in WCW, and it doesn't matter whether she has to beat that fact into him. That gets a 51. Gordon Solie gets a Clash Control Center, focusing on Sid versus Junkyard Dog being officially announced. That gets a 65 because it's Gordon Solie. Tommy Rich defeats Dutch Mantel in 6:39 by pinfall to Thez Press. That's a 51, mainly because David Crockett is not good at his job, which I'll take him off as a road agent after this. And fiery babyface Tommy Rich promo gets a 67. Then we have the Danger Zone with the Steiners, where basically, you know, Paulie says, you know, they're the U.S. Tag Champions, but shouldn't they want more? You know, Steiner says, you know, they'll focus back on the World Tag Team channels once they're finished with the Horsemen. And, you know, there you go. Promo gets 63. Solid stuff. I mean, they aren't long matches. These are just a lot of matches. Because it's 2 hours. Yeah, Steiners were U.S. Tag Champs at this point. Doom were World Tag Team Champions. And there was no what you would call, and that was, it's basically the tag team division at this point was Doom, the Steiners, the bad version of the early 90s Freebirds, the Horsemen, and then not much else, which is why we have stuff like Master Blaster Blade and Master Blaster Steel. So the U.S. champions might not be long for this world as far as being a championship. But yeah, Blade and Steel defeat Bruno Sassi and Ray Lloyd, are jobbers of the night, in 3:45 when Steel pinned Lloyd with a helicopter slam. And yeah, them being angry gets a 35. Missy Hyatt does a promo with Sting, gets a 71. Basically talks about how he's the world heavyweight champion. It doesn't matter who he has to face, whether he has to face Flair again. This time, as Flair instead of the Black Scorpion. He'll defend this title against all comers because he's the wrestler of the 90s. Does his howl, moves on. Well, yes, yeah. Again, WCW 1991. Well, no. When they were the Southern Boys, they were Confederate babyfaces. As the Young Pistols, I believe they moved them out to, Wyoming. So, totally not Confederates anymore. Ignore the probably Confederate patches still on, Tracy Smothers' ring gear. Lex Luger defeated... Both had great heat and good wrestling. Lex Luger defeated Kevin Sullivan in 11:38 when Kevin Sullivan was disqualified when Dan Spivey ran in and attacked Lex Luger. And Sullivan and Spivey beating down Luger gets a 68. And then Doom and Lethal Larry do a promo with Teddy Long. It gets a 58. And in our main event of the evening, which is probably not going to be very good. Okay, not bad. Now had good heat and decent wrestling. Sting and the Steiner Brothers defeated Lethal Larry and Doom in 15:42 when Sting pinned Lethal Larry after the Stinger Splash. Sting got a 79. Steiner's got a 60. So did Doom. Lethal Larry got a 30 because he's Lethal Larry Cameron. And then the Babyfaces having a showdown with the Horsemen gets a 71 to end the show. So this show got us a 65, which is actually better than I thought it would be. But yeah, we've got some work to do with this roster. There's some people who are free agents who I might look into getting, but I want to be somewhat realistic, so I might have to do some little investigation to see exactly the reasons why they didn't come in sooner. But yeah, we'll just see if we get any "you weren't actually good enough" messages from our company, from our TV shows. So. Okay, Muto turned heel, so he's the Great Muto. Okay, so... Nope, okay, great. That's funny. That's actually interesting. At least they had good chemistry when they were jobbing. Let me check out my storylines. So... Alright, still not bad at all. He is already... Yes, he's already El Cubano at this point in real life, 1991. So there you go. Yeah, so just in case you guys are interested, here's who are people who are over 50 in the U.S., are wrestlers, can work in the U.S., and who I can hire, who have at least 60 charisma, which is the rule placed in me by Jim Herd. So we've got Billy Jock Haynes, Bob Orton Jr., Dynamite Kid, Broken Down Dynamite Kid, Greg Valentine. He's officially in a handshake deal with the WWF, so for realism reasons, I wouldn't go after him. Hercules, who's also on a handshake deal. Honky Tonk Man, Kamala, Kevin Von Erich, King Kong Bundy, Nikita Koloff, who I might actually think about bringing in here soon enough. Rick Martin, well, he's also on a handshake deal. Rick Rude, who left WWF at the end of 1990. I'm going to do some investigation and see the reason why it took him so long to decide with WCW. If it was contractual reasons, I'll wait. Otherwise, he might be coming a lot sooner than he did in real life. Ricky Steamboat, who of course left at the end of 1989. I might bring him back in. Tito, who's on a handshake deal with WWF, but realistically he wouldn't leave. And Tully Blanchard, who of course, had his issues with coke. So, and yeah, just in case you didn't see it, owner goals. WC needs to be more in popularity. Jim Hurt is feeling vindictive, so Ric Flair, who is my user character, may now gain more popularity in USA. I'm going to fail that. Sting must be kept above 71 overall popularity. And we can't hire or extend the contract of any wrestler who has less than 60 in charisma. And you can't hire any wrestler who's classified as having a hardcore style. So yeah, there's that. But I think we finished a week today. Well, we'll get through the rest of the we'll get through the rest of the week here, and we'll get to the next show, and then I think I'm going to end this for today, because there's will be a solid hour and a half, so it'll be a good little thing to have for today, at least to get me back used to doing this as far as streaming. No signings yet, and no releases yet. I'm trying to be somewhat realistic, so I'm not going to do the whole fire everybody and rehire everybody. What I'll probably do is I did sign Brian Pillman to a written contract because for some reason he wasn't on one. But yeah, like I said, the people I just showed were some people who I might look into just for star power reasons, even if I just bring them in to join my young wrestlers. Horsemen at this point are Ric Flair, Barry Windham, Arn Anderson, and Sid Vicious. This is just after Flair came in, wrestled as the Black Scorpion, and so they turned back heel. Sting's your world champion, so they're doing that thing. So yeah, so at least the Horsemen are pretty good. If you look at the actual roster, the very top of the roster is solid. Arn, Barry, Luger, Flair, Sting. The problem, and then you even got the Steiners and Sid being built up. The problem is when we've got Bobby Eaton, Junkyard Dog, Larry Zabisko, Ricky Morton, Tommy Rich as stars. That's proof that we need to bring in more people to build up. But yeah. Male-wise, yeah. I might also look in to see who has some star quality, who's not popular that I can maybe bring in. Again, I'm trying to be somewhat realistic, so I'm not going to bring in every guy under 30 who will end up being good in a couple years. But if they sign in real life within a big 2 around this time, then I consider that somewhat realistic enough to bring them in. So, but I also don't want to hire a bunch of people at the start of the year. I want to bring in somewhat realistically as we come in. Right. Okay. Sure. What I might do, because Al Green is really not good, he has basically no skills at all, is I might have them, I may basically use them as a way to get Nash over, and then repackage Nash, not as Oz, but as something different than Oz or Vinny Vegas, and then actually start pushing him later on in the year, doing something. Not sure yet, but yeah, I'll probably have them around squashing people on the undercard just to build Nash up, and then do Nash on his own. People hired, blah blah blah. Okay. And yeah, and that Loser Leaves Town match will probably be on a random episode of Main Event. Or on a Saturday night. TV shows at this point are World Championship Wrestling, which is basically Saturday night under its initial name, and then also we've got Power Hour and Main Event, which are our hour-long B shows. So the Power Hour and Main Event are basically taped the same day, and then Saturday night is the next day. But they're both taped because it's WCW, and they're trying to not spend money. let me do a couple things here. So, yeah, and we got a whole bunch of different annual events that are not yet. This is that weird time when Sullivan was like had like a random talk show on WCW where it was like Sullivan Saloon and other random stuff. So yeah, I'm going to have to like adjusting that because like yeah, the Varsity Club was done at this point. Um, so yeah, so I'll have to figure out I have a plan for him. Um, in the short run, long run, we'll have to figure something else out to do with him. Because again, like Sullivan is like vaguely over, but like he shouldn't be like considered like well known by the fans. He should be like a mid carder or like a lower mid carder with a 55. But eventually, what can you do? Um, but yeah, he'll be used because he is solid. Like he is charismatic and he's like a solid wrestler. But I'll have to figure out like what to do with him on the mid card. Either creating a stable, doing some evil Yuffie monster stuff with him, or doing something else. But it's so I'm going to finish up for now. I'm going to be trying to do this pretty consistently, at least for the next little bit. Got some extra time, so But so yeah, going to be trying to do around this time every day for the next for at least the next little bit. Might be doing my other stuff, which I was doing like MLW and the Cornellverse. But as always, I've got my WCW 2003 on YouTube. I'll be posting this as a VOD up to YouTube, of course. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, give it a like. And subscribe to the channel if you want. But that's it for, today on the old Twitch. But I'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching if you showed up. If you're on the VOD, like I said, I'm probably during the afternoon Pacific time. But otherwise, that's all for now. So, see you later.